Good afternoon, everyone. So this is going to be a short video, a shorter video, hopefully. I want to cover a couple of things. One is the president's speech at the National Prayer Day. Uh, uh, he mentioned voter ID. He said we couldn't pass a voter ID. Just a little bit about voter ID. Uh, in many of our states currently, uh, in order to vote, when you show up at the poll, you don't need to present an ID. You will have to sign something, they will check your signature. And the same thing goes for the mail in ballot, of course. Again, they check your signature to make sure that it matches the signature on the envelope, matches the signature that they have on file. So without showing an ID, uh, you could imagine uh, a whole set of fraud uh, that could happen while voting. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? And I also looked at European countries, uh, and as I explained in my last video, in one of the previous videos, they run probably even a better democracy than us, just by looking at their elections and the turnout and the diversity of representation. Even in those countries, and some of them are even more liberal than our democracy, right? Even in those countries, almost all of them, definitely all the major ones, require an ID when voting. So that uh, makes everybody suspicious, right? When you see some of our states, and many of them are liberal, essentially blue states, that they don't need an ID. That just makes everybody suspicious. So it to me it just makes sense to have a uniform, at least a basic uniform law for our elections, particularly for our federal elections, right? And I think it absolutely makes sense to have some kind of ID rule. I mean, we all have driving license, right? If you're voting, you have some kind of ID, right? Either state ID or driving license, some kind of photo ID you have, right? And many they have passports, right? At least some ID, a photo ID, you have to show, right? A government issued photo ID you have to show. That just makes sense. So I agree with him on that. But he also mentioned, he essentially badmouthed Congressman Massie and Senator Rand Paul. Uh, so so with Massie, he has a beef, and his beef is Massie in terms of the Epstein file, right? Massie, was one of the few, or one of the couple of Republicans who wanted to, who decided to vote for releasing the files, and that was a critical vote. And he did not like that, right? President did not like that. Massie, overall, I find him a sincere congressman, and I think most people find him a very sincere person, an honest person. Same thing for Rand Paul. Rand Paul, as far as I have followed his opinions over the years, he hasn't changed his opinions. He doesn't change based on the presidents, unlike many other senators and Congress people. Same for Thomas Massie. Both of them are sincere representatives. If anything, we need more of these representatives for us. Okay. Unlike many of Republicans particularly, who hate President Trump, who make fun of him um, on his back, behind his back, and in front of him they're just yes man. So this is not a good sign, right? Uh, as a leader, as a wise leader, as a leader with good discretion, you are supposed to be the other way around, right? You are supposed to value sincerity. You're supposed to value honesty of people in your own party, not the other way around. Not to just be pleased with people who uh, uh, do not really like you and only pretend uh, to like you in front of you. So just that, for me, it's not a sign of wise uh, leadership. So that's that. Uh, Now, this brings us again to the Epstein files, unfortunately. I want to make a connection to voter ID. So, voter ID, I said it makes sense, I'm for it. The reason we want it is to avoid and to stop election fraud, right? Okay. And we know currently we don't have a massive level, a very high level of election fraud. We know we have a little bit, but frankly, we don't know. I think the polls show that most people don't think it is at a level to change the election results. But from Epstein files, we do know as a nation that we have a massive, you can call it corrupt or incompetent, or a massively, uh, ineffective, let's say, and you know, a highly ineffective justice system and investigation system, right? That would be FBI and DOJ. All right, that is clear to us now. So for the president to make fun of Democrats in this case for voter ID, for their opposition to voter ID, and then badmouth and essentially insult Representative Massie and Rand Paul for their sincerity, particularly Representative Massie for his sincerity and honesty and his uh, uh, you know sense of responsibility that made him fight for the release of Epstein files. Right? For the president to badmouth this kind of person that stands up to a powerful corrupt system, right? To badmouth for the president to badmouth this type of people, and then you know vouch for voter ID. It's a little bit uh, I would say I don't want to say Hippocratic, but I would say it's a little bit you know off. It's a little bit it's not. It's just not. It doesn't sound it doesn't sound right. Uh, so that was one point that I wanted to mention. Um Second point, different point. Uh, just quickly wanted to talk about President Trump's foreign policy. If you look at the 1 year that has passed, if you look at the achievements in foreign policy of President Trump, you will see essentially a lot of nothing. Right? The wars are ongoing. New wars occurred and may occur again. Um relationships with other countries are not better. They're in fact worse. A lot of other countries who used to be friendly with us, they are looking to diversify out and away from the United States. Uh, China, which I would say currently, right now, China, that was one of the main worries of President Trump, currently is on a better stand uh, than it was before. I don't have anything, by the way, against China. I'm for peace. I am for getting along with other people. I am for competing with others. Of course, on a fair ground and a fair basis. But I am against continuously on a daily basis boasting on our military power and talking about war. If you're doing this, we'll do that. If you don't do this, we will attack you. We don't, continuously, flexing your military muscles. I'm against that. You should flex your military muscle here and there, but not like this. You know. Uh, so just wanted to say that. And one reason, and this was expected. These type of fruitless, outcome uh, out from foreign policy is generally expected. Why? Because in foreign policy, in foreign affairs, you're dealing with sovereign countries. They have their own presidents, prime ministers, a whole set of politicians, a whole set of rich people who essentially own the country, a whole set of people, different culture. We don't know their culture. We don't live there, right? We barely can keep our own people together, right? You have us, as the United States, has very little influence in other countries, right? And so, of course, it's going to be very difficult to get anything done. And that's exactly why you should focus on your own country and maybe some of your neighbors. Right? Your own country, you know best, you have power, you have complete authority over it. Same thing for your neighbors. You have great influence. You have border with them, right? They're right there. You have a lot of trade with them, right? So yourself and your neighbors, again, is my motto. Yourself and your neighbors are who you want to focus on. That's for the private life of a citizen, for families, for cities, for communities, for neighborhoods. Okay, same thing is true for countries and nations. Uh, so, and the third point, again, these are mostly independent points that I'm making in this video. Third point, I watched Tucker Carlson's interview with a couple of people in Holy Land. This is in the part of Holy Land that is in Jordan. Uh, uh, I think that was a very good video, very good interview that he did. He interviewed the Archbishop of the Anglican Church in Holy Land, and I learned a lot of things. One of the things that I did not know was that this tradition of spitting on Christians by Orthodox kind of extremist Jews. I did not know about it. I have heard about it a couple of times, but I did not know that is something that happens often. And then I did a little bit of research, and I saw that no, it does happen more often than is desirable. And it was interesting to me that from my taxes and from our taxes in the United States, we pay you know a very high amount of money and aid to Israel, Jewish state. We essentially kind of alone are guaranteeing their existence, I would say. And then the main motivation, at least the uh, uh, initiation of this effort and all of these aids to Israel was the fact that U.S. Was and is, for the most part, a Christian nation, and then a lot of people, they make pilgrimage to Holy Land. That would be in Jerusalem and Israel in general. And so that uh, factor is perhaps the most important factor in us, the United States, sending the aids to Israel. Uh, it was interesting to me that we are sending these aids and massive amount of money, and then this is how Christians in Israel, Christians particularly in the city where Jesus was born, are treated. And another point that Archbishop, I forgot his name, he mentioned, was that they do not let them to. It's very hard, basically difficult for them to go to the nativity church. This is the place where Jesus was born. There's a church that was built, I think, in the fourth century. It's probably the most, at least definitely one of the most important churches in the world, if not the most important. In any case, so it's very difficult for a lot of Christians to go and, anyways, to visit the church and be, and do their ceremonies. Very interesting to me. Very interesting to me. Uh, you know, so uh, yep. I think I'm gonna stop here. But I'm going to make another video. I saw that Tucker, uh, as he was, interviewing these two gentlemen over there, and they were talking about Christians being a very small minority in Jordan, a 2%, 3% minority in Jordan, and how is it that they have been getting along with Muslims over there for many many years. And I saw that Tucker wasn't familiar with uh, the common concepts that are there between Christianity and Islam. Uh, and I think many Christians may not be familiar with that, although I thought they are. Uh, I think I'm going to make another video and talk a little bit about those common concepts. Not that the two religions are the same; they have a lot of differences as well. But but there's a lot in common as well, particularly when it comes to Jesus and Mary. I'm going to make another video and talk about those. All right, you have a good weekend.